Hey everybody, with me today is State Representative Beaullieu, District Number 48. Representative, thank you so much.
Nice to see you. At some point, I'm going to get him to pronounce Beaullieu correctly, but
It's Beaullieu.
We're good.
Well, yeah, it's funny because I've always said Beaullieu, but it's Beaullieu.
Growing up with a last name like Beaullieu, I've learned not to really correct people. I got over it at a very young age. However you say it, I'm going to answer to it and respond to you. You're good.
Well, with my last name, I got two tricky names. It's William Wallace, but with a name like William, everybody calls me Will, Bill, all kinds of stuff. I go, my name's William Wallace, and they just spelled my last name wrong. So they say it right, but they spell it wrong. So I feel for you.
All good.
So District 48, where is that? Anyway?
Iberia Parish, Lafayette Parish, and a little sliver of St. Martin Parish.
Okay. So you're down in the bayou a little bit?
Acadia and the bayou country,
Acadia,
that's right.
I love it. Well, we got your legislation pulled up, and I'd like to talk about it a little bit with you. House Bill 130 provides relative to motor vehicle crash reports.
Yep, so this is a bill that's being heard in the Senate right now. It's kind of a fixing bill from a bill that was passed last year by Representative Pat Moore. It just makes sure hospitals are billing proper parties and getting access to information. Hadn't been a whole lot of controversy with it. Pretty straightforward, hoping it passes the Senate this afternoon.
Sometimes the least exciting ones are some of the most effective ones.
That's right.
They just need something, a little missing part needs to be connected, and you took care of that.
That's correct.
I like that. House Bill 359 provides relative to federal election guidance and funding.
Yeah, this is a big bill that I've been working on for a while now. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to protect our election system in Louisiana. We want to make sure that any federal dollars, there's been a big push to federalize our election systems, and we want to make sure that Louisiana is still in control of our own elections. And so any federal dollars or federal mandates that come down to the state, to our local election officials, we want to make sure we have proper oversight on our House and Governmental Affairs committees and our budget authority to make sure we are giving everybody equal access to the ballot, and we're not unfairly treating certain portions of our population, and that the money is spent appropriately, and that the mandates are equal for the entire state of Louisiana. Very, very important to protect our elections.
I love hearing this because our elections are very vulnerable right now, and there's a lot of things going on with it. And so in my opinion, or not my opinion, but what I'm figuring out here is that you're basically saying federal money can be used here, and we're glad to accept it. But after we get it, we're cutting the strings, and you all don't control our elections.
That's correct. So last year, you remember there was a Zucker-Bucks bill.
Right.
This is a Biden-Bucks bill. So we want to make sure that any monies come down here are properly appropriated.
I like that. Thanks for looking out for our elections. I appreciate that. That was House Bill 359, I do believe. 374 increases the fine for gross littering of tires and failure to obtain a generator identification number.
Yeah, so we've had, and it started off with just the rural parishes. A big issue with tire dumping. We can have hundreds of tires dumped in sugarcane fields, and with no recourse because we can't find out who did it. And when we do, the fines are very limited. And so we're doubling all the fines for gross littering when it involves tires. And if you don't register as a generator, which is someone who changes tires, you're going to be fined. We're going to increase the fine from $500 to $5,000 because that's how DEQ can monitor who's changing tires and are they properly disposing of them. So this is really needed, and it's affecting. I thought it was a local issue. It's affecting all areas of the state.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times you drive down the interstate and you see like an exit ramp that's been closed off or something, and then there's a big old load of tires over there.
Well, all we're trying to do is keep Louisiana beautiful.
I like that. That's a good one. House Bill 622 provides relative to the Unemployment Insurance Integrity Program.
So this is something I started 2 years ago, and it's become the legislation that I was able to pass in Louisiana has actually become a model for the rest of the country, and other states are adopting. And basically, we're making sure that those people who are receiving unemployment benefits are actually who they are, and that they are actually eligible for these unemployment benefits. We're trying to cut out fraud in our unemployment system. And so what we're basically doing is we're adding a couple other provisions to make sure that we're double checking people who are getting these benefits. If all of a sudden we have a number of requests that come from the same IP address or the same residence, or it's a foreign IP address, or the same bank account for a bunch of different people, that ought to be flags that we can pull up and investigate to make sure that it is it could be a husband and wife, both unemployed, same bank account. But if 4 or 5, 6 different unemployment claims coming to the same bank account, there's probably fraud involved. So we want to get to the bottom of all the fraud that's here in Louisiana.
I like it because we always hear all the narratives and the stories and the news stories about all the fraud there is in our welfare system, and this sounds like a way to attack it without upsetting or without hurting people who need it.
No, that's right. And look, if we clear out all the fraud, we can get the money more efficiently to those people who are deserving of the unemployment benefits. And that's what we're there to do, is to help those at their most vulnerable time when they're unemployed. We want to make sure we get their money to them efficiently, and we want to make sure the money is done, on the up and up.
Looking out for people and saving the taxpayers' dollars.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. 599 is to provide for a property tax exemption for certain veterans with disabilities.
Yeah, this is one that I'm most proud of. It passed the Senate last week, and on the ballot this fall, we're going to have an opportunity to say thank you to those our veterans, especially those who are disabled. So we're going to basically give some exemptions to those who are disabled between 50% disability and 100% disability, some partial exemptions on their property tax. And if you're a veteran and that disability was caused, during your course of service, we want to give you a 100% property tax exemption. And look, it's the least we can do to say thank you to our veterans. And look, everything that we are fighting for at the Capitol, everything that we do on a daily basis with regards to our freedoms, it's because of the sacrifice the veterans have made, and I think we need to pay it forward with them.
I love this as a way to help not only honor them and respect them, but also keep them in Louisiana.
Absolutely.
If
our goal is to make Louisiana the most veteran-friendly state, and this is the first step that we're going to do to get moving in that direction.
Love the idea. Thank you for that. 637 authorizes an assessor to collect a fee from certain parties requesting assessment rolls or lists.
Yep. So this bill ended up dying on the House floor. There were some unintended consequences with it, but we were basically trying to allow assessors to charge an appropriate fee when these big mega companies come in and want all their records and want it at the assessor's cost. But it ran into some roadblocks, and also there was a Supreme Court case that basically made the bill void. So I left it alone.
So the process may end up bringing back something that works better later.
That's correct.
All right. 736 establishes the Athletic Trainer Professional Development Program in the Department of Education and provides for administrative qualification and implementation of the various components of the program.
I'll get that shorter. So our athletic trainers are very important with regards to our sports programs in our high schools. Our athlete safety is the number one priority, and the need for athletic trainers throughout the state is at an all-time high.
Right.
And it's difficult to attract them to the rural areas. So what we're doing is we're establishing a fund with one-time money, so this is not a recurring expense,
right?
To allow some tuition reimbursement for those who are going to get their masters in athletic training. The National Association of Athletic Trainers came out and said all new athletic trainers have to have a master's degree. So this is a way to help offset those costs and get those people to the rural areas. So this is for the athletic trainers in the rural areas who are going to get their masters. And I think this is a huge win for that industry and for our high schools.
Just another one of those pieces of the puzzle.
That's right.
That helps keep people in Louisiana, helps protect children, and
it might help us to recruit other athletic trainers from other states who want to pursue master's degrees here as well. So which is nice.
I like that. 884 provides for changes in the expenditure limit calculations.
So you and I have talked over the last couple of years. The first year that I came in, I had a constitutional amendment that was not successful on the ballot to change the formula for the expenditure limit. Last year I had another one that didn't make it out of the Senate. This one is still waiting to be heard in Senate Finance. I'm not sure if they're going to hear it, but basically what we're doing is we're going to basically codify what goes into the expenditure limit. So we're going to be very clear on what the Division of Administration or the governor's office can use when calculating what goes into that limit. We're trying to control the growth in government. We want to control it and make sure that we don't grow any faster than the private sector. And so this is a way of setting basically some framework and a good foundation for some future expenditure limit bills that we look to bring forward.
Saving taxpayer dollars.
Saving taxpayer dollars.
Making government more efficient.
Being more responsible.
And
yes,
more
sir.
responsible.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
I love that because I'm a small government guy. 899 provides relative to the preemption of local ordinances regarding tobacco products.
We ended up not running this, didn't even show it in committee, but we wanted to make sure local governments weren't putting some undue burdens on our retailers who are selling tobacco products, but we ended up not running it.
Okay. Sometimes the process makes things harder, and as again, maybe something comes back later better. 992 authorizes the Louisiana Tax Commission to hear claims for the refund of ad valorem property taxes erroneously paid on public service properties.
Yeah, this was another one that we ended up not running because there was a court case that worked its way out in the same time. But we wanted to have a proper appeals process for our public service utilities who are appealing different assessments that were made. They were basically having to appeal to the same person making the assessment, and that wasn't a fair process. But it's worked its way out, so again, was able to leave that alone.
Okay, the next one's 917, reduces certain rates for purposes of calculating individual income tax liability and the tax liability for estates and trusts.
So this one you haven't heard the last of.
Oh,
so this
you get excited about that one.
This is one, when we did tax reform last year, we basically took the ability, so if we want to lower our income tax rates, we now don't have to go into the Constitution to change them. We can do them with a vote of this body. Okay. And so as we go forward, we're going to be doing is looking at ways to reduce income taxes on our residents in Louisiana. Our goal is to get to a 0% income tax rate. What I was doing here is I was taking our top bracket and moving it from 4.25% to 3.99%. There was some legality issues with doing it. With all the federal dollars that were coming in, would jeopardize that. So I tabled it for now. But I will be coming back to lower income tax rates in Louisiana.
I love this. And your goal is?
A 0% income tax.
Thank you. Appreciate that one. And your last one that we got on there is 41, recognizes April 6, 2022 as Louisiana Chamber of Commerce Day at the state capitol.
Yeah, look, I'm all about business and free enterprise and entrepreneurship. And when we had all of our chambers here at the Capitol, we wanted to officially recognize them, thank them for what they do for our business community, and this was our way of recognizing the chambers throughout the state of Louisiana.
Well, Representative Beaullieu, is that right?
There we go.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because your first name being Beau, so it's Beau Beaullieu, right?
The real name is Gerald Alphonse Beaullieu IV.
Okay. So after your great-grandfather then.
Yep, that's right.
Nice. Was there anything else you want to point out about this session? Everything else?
No, if people have questions and they want to reach out to me, I'm always willing to lend an ear and give you my thoughts on legislation. If you have any suggestions. A lot of legislation comes from constituents. They have, like the tire dumping bill came from a constituent. Last year, I passed a couple of bills that came from constituents. If you have anything that you need and you have some suggestions for improving the state, I'm all ears. And I'm humbled to be able to be in this building and to be able to serve the people of District 48. And so I thank them for trusting me to do that, and I look forward to continuing to serve them.
Well, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. William Wallace.
Thank you, and I appreciate the fact that you're telling the people to get more involved, because, like I said, when people get more involved, they not only bring good bill ideas, but in the process in the committee meetings, they can add amendments or they can talk about things, make it better. And thank you very much for working so hard for not only Louisiana, but the people in your district.
Thank you.
And everybody else, please share the video, share the interview. You can find the podcast at William Wallace for America. It's WALLIS, and Facebook, Rumble, and YouTube. Thank you so much, y'all. Have a great day.
Thank y'all.